Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome IMCA Executive Director and CEO, Sean Walters.
What a great day it's been. I always try to grab a spot to introduce a speaker when the speaker is Dr. Marston. A, because he's been such a critical part of IMCA's success over the years. And B, because I know you can't wait to see his remarks, so I don't have to talk as long. And so I pledge that to you today. It's the 30th anniversary. Maybe you've seen all the signs, all the fanfare. This is the last time you'll hear us really prattle on about 30 years. But I want to make it about you. So first thing I'm going to ask you to do, it's been a long day. You've been walking up and down those ARIA hallways. Your step counters are probably clocking out big time. Let's stand up and stretch those legs. Everybody stand up. So we're going to celebrate the 30 years of IMCA right after this session in the exhibit hall. But I'm also going to celebrate it right now. Everybody standing up in the room is part of IMCA's success over the past 30 years. And so I want to have everybody give themselves a round of applause. Don't sit down yet. If you're not a member of IMCA, you can go ahead and sit down. Grab a pen, write Join IMCA on a piece of paper, joinimca.org, go sign up. If you've been a member for less than 5 years, thank you so much for your support and recent involvement, but you can sit down as well. If you've been a member for 10 years or less, go ahead and sit down. It's a lot of people. If you've been a member for 15 years or less, so you joined IMCA post-2000, Y2K. There's some kids in the room that don't even know what Y2K stands for.
That's right.
And how nervous we all were.
Yeah,
good, so we're 15 years. 20 years or less, 1995. Wow, 25 years. So, the individuals that are standing now joined IMCA between its founding of 1985 and 1990. Let's give them a round. So, I'm a history major. I can't help myself at every anniversary. I've been part of IMCA as executive director for just 1/6 of this 30 years. Last time I stood up here as executive director during one of these anniversaries was 2010. And we did kind of look back then. I'd just like to take a few moments and ask you to reflect on some of what we've accomplished over the last 30 years, but perhaps more importantly, as a history major, I believe that lessons of the past are just as relevant today. So what was important to those folks who were standing just a few moments ago at the end of that process is just as important today. And nonprofits like IMCA, really any business, the first 5 years are really critical. Most of nonprofits and businesses do not make it through their first 5 years. So those individuals who were still standing up at the end of that process were a part of that success. And there were 3 things that were important to them then that I believe are just as important today. The first is membership and community. This is the who behind IMCA. They wanted to be affiliated with the best practitioners in their field, individuals who consulted with high net worth clients or institutional clients who managed significantly more assets than their peers, that were committed to lifelong learning. This is your organization. If what I'm talking about sounds right to you, this is your organization. You're the owners, the customers, and the workforce for IMCA. All of our publications, conferences, certification exams, and policies, everything that we do is by you, for you. Our staff of 35 is here to help the volunteers make that happen. There's 183 volunteers at IMCA, serving on 25 different work groups. We need your help to make our organization successful. Tell the story, recruit people, tell the story of SEMA and CPWA. If you're interested in volunteering, please stop by that nice IMCA Central booth in the exhibit hall during the next reception and give them your card, and we'll help you find a place where you can volunteer. You also can grab one of these 30-year pins. There's also ribbons there for all the different years I mentioned off. The second thing that was important to those pioneers in 1985 to 1990 that's important today is ethics and standards. They're just as important today. This is the why behind IMCA. This was the purpose behind IMCA being founded. The code was adopted in 1986 to promote and maintain the highest standard of personal and professional conduct in the industry. Did you know that fewer than 1 out of 10 advisors holds a voluntary certification? I believe that the act of voluntarily pursuing a higher standard than what's minimally required by law is inherently an ethical act. And these are the kind of ethics and standards that you've helped us build over the last 30 years, because all of you in the room are committed to that ongoing pursuit of excellence. The third principle that I think was important back then, that's just as important today, is educational rigor. And this has many faces at IMCA. It's the what behind we do. So there's hundreds of credentials, 150 to 200, I hear 250 sometimes. There's hundreds of credentials in our industry. What makes IMCA different? There's thousands of educational opportunities and conferences in our industry. What makes our events different? And it was important then, it's important now, it's quality. Quality is the most important thing that we do for you as members. If we're not able to stay on the forefront and the cutting edge of quality publications, we are not going to be as relevant to you, and you won't be as relevant to your clients. Whether it's alternative investments in our fundamentals program, the monitor, the journal, the advanced investment strategist program, even all the sessions at this conference, you know, we'll hit some out of the park, and some of them will be foul balls, but we're committed to constantly working to improve our offerings to you. In 2011, our board took a major step forward and pursued accreditation for its CIMA certification. The CPWA and the CIMA are both built on high-quality standards for personnel certifications. Those kinds of principles like continuing education requirements, so that you don't just take a test, pass it 30 years later, without having done anything between then and today. You have the continued competency requirements that we put in place are designed to help raise that bar and raise those standards. So everything around the accreditation that we earn is designed to advance and protect the integrity of those marks that you put after your name. And that's a symbol of quality. So, the other thing, the other aspect that IMCA has been very fortunate to have in place over many years is fantastic educational partners. And it started almost 30 years ago with the Wharton School. It's continued up through partnerships with Berkeley, Chicago booth for the CPWA program and CIMA, Carnegie Mellon, the Tepper School of Business came on board a couple years ago, and just recently MIT was approved as a new CIMA registered education program. We also have had for about 13 years a program at the University of Technology of Sydney. These educational partners help grow the professionalism in our industry, and we're very fortunate to have them. The one that we've counted on the most over the years, that's been there the longest, we have deep roots with the Wharton School. And Dr. Marston is about to come up in a second and give his remarks. Let me ask you guys, we started with some activity. Raise your hand if you have had Dr. Marston teach any part of the CIMA program to you. Isn't that fantastic? Let me introduce Dr. Marston and bring him up here. But let me close by just saying, again, thank you for all of the work that all of you have done to support IMCA over the years and make us really a premier association in the industry. Give yourself another round of applause. So without further ado, Dr. Richard Marston is the James R.F. Guy Professor of Finance at the Wharton School and the Director of the George Weiss Center for International Financial Research. I'm 46 almost, and I need bifocals, and I'm not wearing them right now, so bear with me. He earned a BA from Yale University, a Bachelor's of Philosophy from Oxford University, and a PhD from MIT. He's a recipient of a Rhodes Scholarship and a Fulbright Fellowship. A year ago, those of you who went to Boston last year, you may recall that Dr. Marston received the MacArthur Award for the industry impact. He's the author or editor of 6 books, including International Financial Integration Among the Industrial Countries, which won the Sangla Bank Prize in International Finance. His book, Portfolio Design, A Modern Approach to Asset Allocation, was published in March 2011. And his latest book, Investing for a Lifetime, which is geared more towards clients and high net worth clients, was published in June 2014. Please join me in welcoming Professor Richard Marsden.